What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the C.A.N Report. Nozzle Tov, everyone. Got a new sponsor alert. Happy to announce that we have Industrial Protection Services, LLC, or IPS, joining the team, a family-owned provider of firefighting equipment, tools, and service solutions headquartered in Salem, New Hampshire. IPS works with fire departments, municipalities, and industrial teams across New England, helping equip firefighters with the gear they rely on every day. From SCBA and breathing air systems to turnout gear, rescue tools, flashlights, hoses, nozzles, and more. But what really sets IPS apart is their service. Their team provides an on-site support, including SCBA flow testing, hydrostatic testing, compressor maintenance, fit testing, and hands-on training, making sure equipment isn't just purchased, but properly maintained and ready when it matters most. With decades of experience and a strong presence throughout New England, IPS has built a reputation for being more than just a distributor. They're a trusted partner to the departments they serve, focused on keeping crews safe, compliant, and ready for the fire ground. To learn more, visit ipp-ips.com. Nozzle Tov.
Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene. If they've been command, give me a C.A.N report.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the C.A.N Report. Nozzle Tov, everyone. Happy 100th episode. I made it to 100. And to celebrate that, I have someone who has really motivated me, inspired me, and inspired so many others. And I got him on, Mr. Corley Moore, Firehouse Vigilance, Weekly Scrap, the man. Thank you, sir, for being on the C.A.N Report.
Brother, I am beyond honored to be a part of this, and congratulations on what a milestone, dude. Because it is a grind. I will put it that way. It is a grind. And so my hat's off to you, brother. Congratulations on making it to there.
Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate it. Like you just said, like, it is a grind and sticking with it. And you're one of those people that made me stick with it. And that's what I'm going to talk about when we talk about this episode, when we dive into everything and go down some rabbit holes. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about everything that you did to inspire so many of us. But honestly, just not to have you as the 100th episode. It's just, like you said, it's a great milestone. And if it wasn't for people like you, I wouldn't be here. So I want to pay the honor and respect to you and have you on this special episode.
Mike, I don't know what to say, Michael. I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I'm excited for the conversation.
All right, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into it, I'd like to kick it off to my sponsors. So we have the Engine House Designs, LLC, Igniting the Pride. He's a working firefighter out of Memphis, Tennessee. He makes hats, he makes stickers, he makes flags, coats, you name it. He's doing it. He's doing a great job with it. He also runs a podcast on the side as well, Engine House Podcast. But Engine House Designs is his thing, and he's done my hats and everything. But want to give a shout out to him. He's doing great work. He's always stands behind his product and always gives 110%. He's also teamed up with the Kitchen Table Foundation out of Arkansas. That is a nonprofit organization that helps first responders and military alike. And what he's doing, he's making their swag for them, their hats, their jackets, their shirts. So when you go onto their online store for the Kitchen Table Foundation, the items that they have for sale is made by him. So the Kitchen Table Foundation is doing amazing things for first responders. They actually just teamed up with Coors Banquet to also help that mission. So that's super cool. So anyone who's buying Coors Banquet, you're helping out the Kitchen Table Foundation. So with that being said, we're going to dive right into it. Corley Moore, my man. I know you don't really need an introduction or to a bio, but for those who don't know who you are, can you give them a brief synopsis of who you are?
I like to tell people I was a firefighter. I'm still getting used to saying that, but I retired last year. 28 years firefighter, retired as a battalion chief out of Moore, Oklahoma. The only place I ever worked, Moore, Oklahoma, phenomenal fire department. And I'm a firefighter that also has a podcast and likes to write books. That's what I tell people. And so my main roles in life are husband, father, grandfather. So those are the big three.
And congratulations on the grandchild. I've been seeing pictures, and you've been doing great things, so enjoying the life as being a grandparent. So that's awesome.
Yeah, totally ate up with it. So the quintessential grandpa, no doubt about it.
The quintessential grandpa. I see what you did there. That's awesome. That's very cool. So you know what? I'm going to hit it right off. So we just talked about it, and I want to bring it back. Remaining consistent. I speak a lot of it on my podcast is about how you really kept pushing me to go a little bit further and to stick with it. And we had a chance meeting at the airport after FDIC, and you were enjoying your coffee with Amanda, and I was with my guys from Derry, and we saw you like, wait, hey, there's Corley. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to bother him. It was a busy week. All the thing that dude wants to do is drink some coffee and then get on a plane and go home. And but then you saw us, like, hey guys, what's going on? And we just started having a conversation. And what was really cool is my guys actually broke away and they're hanging out with Amanda. And you and I sat down, and you're just telling me everything about this. You know, I had started it. I think it's been at that time, I think I've been doing it for almost a year. And you're breaking everything down. Like, you were showing me your charts, your graphs. And the biggest thing that really also hit me was you're like, dude, you got to remain consistent. Consistency is the key. And it really, that I always think about that when those times get tough, and it's like you said, it's a grind and it keeps going. And how did you find that consistency? How did you, because you, like, again, you've done so many episodes now. How do you keep going for this?
Great. Like the weird part is I'm not a consistent person. So like, it's not one of my strengths. In fact, I beat myself up constantly about my inconsistencies in life. So for the scrap to be as consistent as it has been one of those things that I am super proud of. But somewhere along the way, I made a commitment that I was going to do, like, I don't remember what the original commitment was. I really don't. It was like, I'm going to do 3 months and never miss a week or something like that. And then the streak became more important than not doing it, you know, and somehow it just took over. And I know one of my favorite podcasters, I reference it all the time, and consistency is the key. He says it best. Chris Williamson says it. He says, consistency does not guarantee success, but a lack of consistency will absolutely guarantee failure. And so I just kind of keep that in the forefront, and it's been a driving force. And obviously it sticks in my head because I tell people that all the time. And it's tough because, man, there's so many people that will reach out and say, hey, Chief, I'm going to start a podcast. What do you think? I'm thinking about this angle, this, you know, whatever. I'm like, do it, man. Make it happen, man. Go. And then, you know, they make 1, 2, 3 episodes and they're gone. Poof. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what you said to me. It was that's what like you said, like people start and they kind of get right to that point, and then it's like becoming too much and they back down and they're done. And it's not even just like the coming up with your guests, coming up with material, the editing, and posting everything out. That does take a lot of work. And then trying to raise a family, you got work. Yeah. You know, it does take a lot of effort, and that's why I see people, you know, they start to drop off. But that was really, again, what really stuck with me in that conversation was, you know, you're here, don't stop. Keep going. And I always remember that. That's my driving force. I always just remember that conversation we had. But the big takeaway too was that you opened everything up for me in that conversation. You showed me the ins and outs. You like, hey, this is what I do. This is how I look at the numbers. This is what's working. This isn't what's working. This is how I do. And you didn't have to do that, you know, and that was free information. And I would love it is like, there's no competition. There's no anything, right? And then because we're all alpha personalities, and we're always competing with ourselves and others, but you like really just open it up. And that was, again, that big takeaway was, dude, here's all the information, man. Have fun with it. This is how it's going to work.
I'm glad. I love I still remember the conversation right there at that coffee shop on that corner of that terminal. And it was a great conversation. But truthfully, I get inspired by people like you who are doing it and sticking with it. And so it's just a great refreshing of my batteries to be able to have that conversation with you, with someone who cares and actually gets it. That's the big part. Because there's a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people reach out and say, hey, I'm doing this. But like, I think there's one of those internet statistics. I don't know the truth of it, but it's like, if you make it to episode 20, you're in the top 5% of all podcasts. And it's not that that doesn't mean it's not even about the episode 20. It's about how many people start and think, oh, it's easy. I get a microphone and I talk to a camera and boom, podcasting is easy.
Yeah.
And they get to the third, fourth episode and they're like, I don't like this at all. So
Yeah.
whenever I see it, and dude, you're making such a huge impact, like the March Mayhem stuff and the live interviews on the grounds and all that stuff, dude. The Yellow Jackets, it's all just, it's awesome to watch. And one of the best things you said was, there is no competition in the fire service. There is no, I shouldn't say in my head, there's no competition. If you succeed, we succeed. The fire service succeeds. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it. So anyway.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. And I love that you're going with that, dude. That's like we talked about earlier is I just want to open up and have these table chats, if you will, and open up everyone to what you're doing and how you're doing it. And what I love is that it's that domino effect. Everyone's watched so much of what you've done. And again, they want to do exactly not exactly, but they want to pick up what you're doing. And then what's happened is now people have reached out to me. Hey, I'm thinking about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And then a gentleman I think he's out of Louisiana. He is Lieutenant Stash is his podcast. And I think he actually gave you a shout out as well. And,
okay.
And, cause he was looking to start it and he started texting me, via Instagram. And how do I do this? I go, give me your number. Immediately call him up. This is what I have done. This is what I'm doing. Here's some recommendations. Like, let's all help each other. And that's what's so cool about this. It's like, yeah, man, I want to see you succeed. We don't own any of this. So like,
right on.
It's all free. You can either Google the shit out of it or you can get it from firsthand knowledge. So,
and there's something else that needs to be said about you, Michael. And I know we're just sitting here passing compliments back and forth and, and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of people I've given, I don't want to say advice to, but I can be an advice monster at times, but I'll give them the lessons I've learned. I'll pass them on, whether it be, I get articles sent to me and books sent to me on the regular, and they say, hey, will you check this out? And I will give, there's been times where I've given like really good critique and feedback and edits. And I've had people piss on it. Like just say, hey, I don't give it. I don't care what he said, and that was not the sense I got from you at all. Like you absorbed what you could, applied what you could, and that makes it worth it.
Absolutely.
When you feel like you've actually had an impact.
Absolutely. Cause you've already lived it. Man, if I didn't take your advice to heart, then what kind of person am I? It'd be the same thing in the fire service. Like when you got the senior guy and the salty guy there who's been doing the job for 20 years and he gives you something like those nuggets, are you gonna like throw it away and go, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about?
But there are people that do, and it's crazy. But there are, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I wasted my time there. But all right, next.
So let's get into, actually to peel back the layers. What made you start doing a podcast?
Brother, it was a process. So there wasn't a single thing. It was, I wanted to make an impact. I think there's a lot of people who hit a point. Like I was not a young guy wanting to make an impact. So my trajectory was not that. And this is something that I always tell people is I have a high amount of empathy for people who are not plugged into the job because I've been there. I've been a firefighter who wasn't ate up with the job, who wasn't going to conferences, who wasn't up to speed on tactics. That was just the trajectory of my career. I came to it late. Brian Crush, absolutely impacted I probably, when you really peel back the onions and say, what was the catalyst? Brian Crush is, because he brought in a leadership symposium to his department at the time up in Edmond, Oklahoma, the Edmond Leadership Symposium. And he exposed me to Mark Von Oppen and Dave McGrail and Mike Walker. And I was just like, it was right at the perfect like crossroads of my career where I was like, holy crap, you can love this job, be good at this job, be proud of it. And it just impacted me. And I'm telling you, it was just a huge difference maker to hear those people speak. Dave McGrail did his lecture called Are You Into the Job? And it was just phenomenal. And Mark Von Oppen, of course, is fully involved in the Big Four and all of that. And after that, I said, I'm going to bring Mark Von Oppen to my department. And I did like probably a year and a half later. And I said, I'm going to be like Mark Von Oppen. And so Mark Von Oppen was very popular with the blog early on, before I'd even met him. And so I saw his blog and his blog posts, and I basically did that. I wrote blog posts, I wrote articles all around all this stuff, what everybody else was doing, and I'm copying it, and that kind of thing. But there was no traction to it whatsoever. And I started doing the memes, I would take a badass fire photo and I would embed a quote into it. So I would bury the quote into it almost in a 3D manner.
Yeah.
And those started catching traction on like Instagram and stuff. And that's actually the first iteration of it. But it was never, even when I tell people this, the weekly scrap was never a podcast to begin with. Like for the first 50 episodes, you either caught it live or you had to scroll through Facebook and find the thing and hit it so you could watch it. And it wasn't, I'd been doing it for like a year, like every week for a year. And someone reached out on social media and was like, hey, it's really hard to listen to you at the gym. Is there a way to make it into a podcast? And I was like, on my phone going, how do you make a podcast? You know, that kind of thing. And that's when it became, you know, all the old episodes became audio podcast. And then from that point forward, it was put out as a podcast each week. So
that's awesome.
it was a weird evolution. There wasn't one single moment that ever took place. In fact, the podcast started out as me talking, and that was the first 10 episodes. You can still find them on YouTube. Don't, but they're still there. I refuse to take them down because I made them. I recorded them. They're there, but they're just me talking about different leadership concepts and different ideas that I had at the time.
And it's crazy how much it's now grown from those grassroots, if you will, of just doing inspirational quotes and just talking to yourself, and all of a sudden people want to hear more of it. And I mean, now you're on to episode 300, 350.
Tomorrow night. 350 is tomorrow night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
pretty
is
proud. Pretty
killer.
proud. It's like almost 7 years. Almost 7 years.
Wow.
Like technically, like 364 will be 7 years technically, because it is every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so you can do the like 50 a year. I think it's like 54 on average a year, because I have a couple specials every now and then that add a little to it. But anyway.
Well, so that's the thing. So you 7 years, 350 episodes, and your guests are just, you have some that you love. I could tell are definitely your guys and girls. Like those are repeat customers. They come back. The people are loving them. And do you get a lot of feedback from it? Like, do you get emails or messages from?
Oh yeah, dude. That's probably the most rewarding aspect of it is the emails. The social media messages that just say, hey, thank you for what you do. You had I saw episode insert whatever, and that completely changed. And that's when I discovered the scrap, and you completely, it's very self-validating. Don't get me wrong, but it's also very humbling because I try to explain this to people is like, I get to meet the most badass people in our profession, the biggest names, the coolest cats in our profession. And I get to have a one-on-one conversation like this with them. And usually they become my friends through this interaction. So I get to meet the most badass dudes in our profession, have conversations with them, become friends with them, be part of my network, and share it with people. But then I get people come in and say, hey, thanks for doing that. Yeah. Which is such this weird, like, it's like, dude, are you serious? You're telling me thanks? Look what I get to do. So when I tell people
craziest thing right
I'm
there.
Like super lucky, I mean it. It's not just something I say. I'm the luckiest dude in the fire service for what I get to do.
Yes, sir. And you're absolutely right there. Is getting the feedback of that. I mean, we're going to get feedback. We're going to get shit comments. We're going to get good comments. And you got to filter those through. But when you got people that like legit get something from it and say, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for that episode or for that guest or for that message that you gave to me. That for me is huge. When I'm feeling down, it's like I've said it many times, I'm not a super religious person.
Right.
But when I'm feeling down and whatever, I'm in my own head, and out of the blue, I get this message on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, and it could be a random person says, hey man, I just listened to that video you just posted. Thank you for that. That really is what I needed right there.
No.
Bam.
Yeah.
I'm lifted because I see that purpose. And that's for me, that's God putting his hand on my shoulder and saying, hey man, you are on the right path.
No, it's validation.
It's validation
that the effort is worth it. And it does. It fills your heart, if you want to just get, it does, man. Mm-hmm. It fills your cup.
It does. Exactly right there. It fills your cup and it's helping. You're providing that service. Like you said, we love the fire service and we want people to know more about it. You have given light to so many people to know who these other people are in the fire service, the Brian Brushes, the Kyle Ramaguses, the McGrails, and not even just the big names either, but like there's other names out there that nobody knew of. And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, they're talking about them because you gave them an opportunity because you saw something good in them and you want to hear that message. Like you just said, I'm listening and I'm learning. And the same thing for me. Every time I have somebody on, I've just learned a whole lot more either about that person and also their knowledge. And I love absorbing that. So if I'm absorbing it, I know someone out there has got to be absorbing it.
Right
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
So you do the you got your podcast, and you're a chief in Oklahoma, and I got to ask, like, how tough was that for people that are ever looking to do these worlds that we're in, being on a fire department, whether you're a chief or whether you're a private, and then also having one of the most leading podcasts out there? How difficult was that to actually try to separate the lines?
I never talked about it while I was on duty, but I'm retired now, so I can talk about it a little more freely. But again, I worked at a phenomenal department, great people. I have no, they're some of the best people on the planet. And I learned, but one thing, I learned a lesson very early. So if you go back to the beginning of Firehouse Vigilance, which was 2017, 2018, I think is technically when it became Firehouse Vigilance. But I wrote the Vigilant Creed, which is my belief in what the fire service should be. You know, it's we do this for others, push, train, learn, master ourselves, never easy, never quit. Right. And there's a paper that goes with that, but that's the headlines of each part. And I wanted to get people to sign that creed across the country. And I wanted them to sign it and take a picture holding the signed piece of paper. And then they would send me the picture, and I would post it on social media and say, yeah, we just got Texas, or yeah. And there was a map where the states turned red as people joined and things like that. And I got the guys at my firehouse to do it, and my friends and the people I had relationships with across the department. I got like 14 or 15 of the guys to sign it and post pictures. Some of them did some badass pictures holding the American flag in bunker gear on air, all this different stuff. They did some cool shit with it. But long story short, there was this backlash from the department of all these guys saying, "Oh, Corley's starting a cult. He's got his own special club. They think they're better than they think their shit don't stink," and all this kind of, just this like, where the hell did this come from? You know what I'm saying? And I decided right then and there I was never going to mix my Firehouse Vigilance with my department, and I tried to keep them separate. And the other thing is, as a person in a position of authority, when I started, I was a company officer, and then I became a battalion chief I think 2019. So a year into it, I was a battalion chief. And just like my book, 9 L's, I never went around and gave the 9 L's to anybody on my department that says, hey, you should read this book. Because I feel like when you're in a position of authority, it's like I love my book. I think it's awesome. I think every firefighter should read it. Do not get me wrong. But it's a great book. Phenomenal book. I'll plug it right here. But no, I never wanted to give it to someone who was under me in the chain of command and say, you need to read this. That felt dirty to me, or it's just an ick factor. If that makes sense. So I never pushed my agenda in that regard, or I tried to keep it separate. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense, Chief. And I've been honestly following that same line. I really do try to make sure that is separate. I don't try to mention my department all that much. Not that I don't love it, like you said. It's just it's good to have that dividing factor, and you have this side life, and that's your career, and it's definitely makes things I feel a lot better.
There's more downside than there is upside. That's all I can. For me, in my own personal walk. And I mean, I heard the things. There were people above me in the chain of command that they wouldn't say it to my face, but they would say stuff that would get back around to me. It's like, I guess I should go start a podcast if I, and it's just little, like, just the chirping. Yeah. And it's like, man, like, do you even listen to it? Do you even know what it's about? Or are you just making noise?
Yeah. That's easy to do. Yeah. It's easy to do to make that noise. And especially again, whether you don't listen to the podcast, so you don't put your hand on a certain nozzle, you don't put your hand on certain hoses and whatever it is. And then you still talk a lot of crap about it because you just love to talk crap. But if you actually listen or put your hands on something, then at least you can be educated in it and go, yeah, I still don't like it.
And there is a level. There is a level. Those guys, the men and women of the Moore Fire Department know all my flaws and faults, and they know me inside and out. And that is, I'm not a different person online, but if you don't pay attention to the scrap and you think I'm just out here saying that I'm perfect, I can see the disconnect. You know what I'm saying?
Well, absolutely. I totally get it. And I think it's just why it's such an important topic to talk about, especially anybody who's inspiring to be a podcaster or influencer, if you will. I always hate the title of influencer.
I do too. I think we all hate that term.
I do. But I think that's great that you understood that and you come from that, and but it didn't let you get down on yourself. It didn't define you, and that you've keep going, and now you're here, and you've got, like you just mentioned, the 9 L's, which I've read and I absolutely love.
Thank you.
And with this book, one, how long did it take you to come up with all of this? Because it's a thick book, but not incredibly difficult to read through. But you got a lot of great information in there. How did
Thank
you
you.
learn some of this?
Brother, I would love to say that's all my ideas and I'm this brilliant, person, but it is all rehashed ideas that I've learned from others, plain and simple, whether it be
Mhm.
books I've read, whether it be the conversations that I had, the mentors that had invested in me. It's my take on what they taught me and what I've learned. And so, yeah, there's like one of the things that you don't even realize that you do it, but Abershoff's "It's Your Ship." Um, I always get "Turn the Ship Around" and "It's Your Ship," but Marquet did "Turn the Ship Around." So "It's Your Ship," Abershoff. I read that, and it had a huge impact on my leadership journey. And then I read it. I went back and was flipping through it at some point, and I was like, holy smokes, I didn't realize how much I don't want to say stole from it, but how much influence Abershoff's book had on me. And it was things like that, Jocko's Extreme Ownership,
Mhm.
just all these different influences. And you don't even realize all the concepts and tenets that you absorb from them, and then you rehash them and put them out there in your own manner that hopefully resonates with people.
Yeah, and like I was flipping through as you're saying, because I have I've highlighted my notes,
Right
and
on.
and like you said, you've taken stuff from other people, the things you met, and the people that you've gained a lot of information. Like Jay Bonifield says it best when he says, "You can be stressed or you can be learning, but you can't be both." Like
Yes.
those are like things. That's why it stuck out for me. It's like I'm gonna highlight that shit because
And
I
that's a
had.
quote from Make Do Suburban Firefighter podcast, which is a phenomenal podcast that he was on. And again, I just shout out to the impact. Sometimes I try to cite anywhere I take something, but who knows how much of that I absorbed somewhere, and I don't remember where it came from, and it made it into the book. So again, it's from all over the place. But yeah, absolutely, I try to always give credit.
And but you've developed your own style of leadership and treating people right. And we were talking earlier before we came on a couple hours earlier, and we were talking about the formula. And tell me a bit about that. Like we were talking, but let's elaborate for people who are listening.
Well, the thing is the concepts are concrete. The concepts are proven throughout time, space, and history, and human beings are human beings. But and the thing that makes leadership so either frustrating or beautiful, however you want to look at it, is the fact that there is no magical formula. There is no uh, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3 step by step process that you can take and apply, and it works every time. And that's what can be so frustrating about it because human beings are involved. And I always tell people, like, black and white is easy. Enforcing rules is easy. A computer could run if all leadership was enforcing rules, then a computer could do it, right? But it's not what it is. Leadership is that giant, vast gray area in between the black and white rules, the no and yes. That's that gray area that's in between, and that's where leadership exists. And there is no magical formula that says, hey, just do this in the gray area and you'll be fine. There's so much nuance, and it changes with every person, every relationship, every interaction, and
Mm.
every set of circumstances, SOGs, policies, procedures, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to study, and I'm fascinated by it.
And I feel like that you could take all the classes in the world and read all the books, and if you don't have, I think, a way to be self aware, you still can be a real crappy leader. If you're not listening, if to your crew, if you're not looking at body language, if I mean, you can read the books, like I said, you could take all the
Oh yeah.
classes and have all those certs and all
Oh
those
yeah. Be
degrees,
completely, yeah. Shoot yourself in the foot.
right?
Yeah.
So that's and I think for me, at least from observing others, is I think that's some of the steps that people miss is they'll read the book sometimes, or they might take the class, but they still don't understand like there's a way to treat people, there's a way to be a leader, but also not being a pushover.
Oh, absolutely. And what you touched on a core tenet of my beliefs, which is self-deception is a bitch, plain and
Mhm.
simple. Self-deception is one of the most powerful forces in the world, and The worst part is that you don't. The reason it's so powerful is you don't realize you're wrapped up in it. So to not have that self awareness, like you say, I've read all these books, I've done all these things. I just finished, whatever, insert whatever book you want to grab and talk about, and but if you don't have the self awareness to understand that, oh, that was talking about me. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. Again, you hit on it. The humility is the key to growth. I think humility is the bedrock of leadership, and it comes down to that self-awareness, because if you don't have the self-awareness, then it's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, and then like you just said it, humility as well. If you are not getting hit with that humility brush, and you get it late in life, and you're definitely higher up on the food chain, and you get it late in life, that's gonna be hard to come back from.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
And the crazy part is that humility brush is so important. So important. And the problem is if you're like, well, that doesn't apply to me. And if you're the person that says, well, that doesn't apply to me, guess what? You're that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%.
And so you already mentioned it earlier, as you have people that really motivated you and inspired you, like Chief Brush and McGrail,
And the list is way longer than them. like there's, I hesitate to say names, but they were the initial catalyst. Go ahead. Sorry.
So with that though, is there anybody that really inspired you as before you even met them, of how to be a good leader, or at least to be good in your position as coming up the ranks? Did you already have an idea of how you wanted to be an officer? And
are you talking about like a mentor within the department?
Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was a Chief Scott Lance, my captain. Man, we were connected at the hip. But when I hired on, he was my driver, or I was his firefighter as a driver. And when he promoted to captain, I became his driver. When he promoted to battalion chief, I became one of his company officers. And when he retired as a battalion chief, that's the spot I took. And so like probably the biggest influence on my firefighting career is that man. 100%. I wanted to be him when I was younger, and I learned so much from him, faults and strengths, and he was far from perfect, but that's not a knock at all, because he was a great human being and invested a lot in my leadership journey, without a doubt. And there's so many more. I mean, my original battalion chief, I had the same battalion chief for 17 years. First 17 years of my career, same battalion chief, Jack Briggs. My son is named after Jack Briggs and Scott Lance. And
Wow.
those are, and there's a whole story behind how that ended up being, but it is still the truth. He is still named after those two men.
Wow.
So they had a huge impact on my career. One of my early company officers, Randy Lemons. And when people hear me say that, they'd be like, what? Captain Lemons was a massive influence on me as a company officer. But just so, there's so many people that invested time in me, some of whom I didn't realize were doing it at the time, and a lot of which I didn't appreciate at the time. So, and if you knew me as a rookie, it's like, there was probably odds that I wouldn't make it as a firefighter. Like, I probably should have been terminated during my probationary year. And that's the truth. So I was very young, immature, and I didn't take the job serious.
What was it that finally made you realize, like, man, what did they do that made you feel like these are the guys that are leading the way for me?
Man, I think that honestly, it's just they lived their consistency. I don't even want to say consistency, because that's not even it wasn't that. It was their personal example, consistent and inconsistent, their personal example, the rules the standards that they held and the standards that they let slip and everything in between. Their personal example was the example that gave me my template for what I was going to do, and also what I was not going to do, the parts I was going to improve on, as well as the parts I was going to screw up on my own. So that is probably the key to it, is just what they lived and
That's awesome.
how they overcame challenges. Yeah.
And then with the other books that you have, we have the 9 L's, and then you also have a book on family, on marriage.
Oh yeah. The relationship book.
What inspired you to do that?
That's we really, probably our kids, me and my wife wrote it together. So it's our book, and it is everything we wish we'd have known. We got married very young. I was 19, she was 17, and
Wow.
yeah, very young. And we had 3 kids by the time we were 23. By the time I was 23, she was 21, so it was everything that we wish we would have known when we got married at that young age. Everything we wish we'd have known. And I say everything. It's the lessons we've learned that it would have been nice to know. And we were honestly probably the impetus for it was writing it for our children who were when we were writing it, they were getting married. They were starting their lives
Hmm.
as young adults. And so now whether they read it or not, who knows? One of my daughter picked it up one time and said, "Oh, I can't wait to read this." And she flipped it open to chapter 7, which is sex. And she's like, "Ooh, ooh," not reading that. So that's the reaction our kids got from the book. But it's just me and my wife just celebrated 30 years together. We made it through.
Congratulations.
We've made it through. If you know us, we've been to the mountaintops and we've been to the valleys. We've been and everything in between. And it's the lessons we learned that we think can really make or break a relationship.
And I could tell what a great relationship you guys have. And from, again, I'm always observing, and I noticed these past few years, she's really been now this big push for you.
Oh yeah.
Because before on social media, I didn't see a lot of Amanda. We knew you were, like for me, I knew you were married. I could see that you had your wife, you talked about your wife, but I didn't see her posting a lot of things that you did. And all of a sudden I saw a shift and I see a lot of her pushing a lot of your stuff, which I thought was so cool to see that. Like she's become she's become the PR for you.
She is the world's greatest hype girl, period.
Yeah.
Like, she is
and
phenomenal.
It's amazing to see that.
No, absolutely.
And I love that.
If you get on her radar, she'll hype. I mean, it's not me. She'll hype everything she believes in. She'll hype, and because she believes in it, not for any, she doesn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
She really is, loves to give. That's her love language, is acts of service. And so hyping people that she sees doing good work, good things, she loves to share it.
Yeah, I loved meeting her. I really did at FDIC. It was such a joy, and I got to chew her ear for a little bit. But like you said, like she's actually done a lot as well, because she's motivated a lot of people. And you have the Firewives Club, and they meet at CFT. So I love to see that. But what I love that she's actually started a little, she started a motion herself with the wing picks.
Yeah.
And when I think I was coming home from Idaho or Maryland. It was a busy 2 weeks, but I had a moment to reflect, and I sent her my wing pick and a huge story of why. And because she motivated for me to do that. And if it wasn't for her posting her wing picks and everybody else posting her wing picks, and I don't think it wouldn't have been that motion for it, but she had that movement, and everyone's like, yeah, I love
everybody.
the wing.
Everybody's tag Amanda, take a wing pick, tag Amanda. The reason it started, the whole reason it started, she has massive anxiety when it comes to flying, right? And she's not a medication girl, so she won't pop a Xanax and get on there, right? She's not, she won't do it. And so, but one thing that calms her is wing picks of people flying. And for whatever reason, like their safe journeys calm her down, and she loves to hype them. What's really cool is over time, friends have sent her dozens, and she'll put together montages of people who've sent them. So keep them coming, send them. They mean the world to her, and she loves them. And that's why I always talk about it and always hype it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So if anyone's listening, wing picks, send them to Amanda, please.
Tag Amanda Moore. Post a picture, tag Amanda Moore. She'll critique the wing pick. She'll tell you what's good about it, what's bad about it, if you have too much glare, et cetera, et cetera. And
I love doing the time of it, like the time lapse on your camera.
Yes.
That stuff's pretty badass. So I've gotten pretty good at that, and
it's fun to do because you have nothing else to do while you're if you have a window seat. There's not much else to do.
There's not much else to do. No, it's really cool. So thank you, Amanda, for inspiring us and making that movement on the wing picks. It's a lot of fun, and it definitely helps kill the time. And so also on other books, we have your book of search.
Oh yeah,
and
it's not mine. It's not mine. It's the fire service. I want to be great. Yeah,
you made the movement. You've helped make it.
I was part of that. That's such a badass thing that the fire service did. And 100%, 44 authors, I think. I could get the numbers wrong. 47 articles, 44 authors, 2 artists, 3 photographers. Again, like the people that made it happen I'm just glad I was a part of it. So, but the book of search, amazing. If you don't know about it, it's 100% free to the fire service. Go to firehousevigilance.com. You can download the PDF 100% for free.
I'm going to show it right now, actually. So we're going to share that.
Perfect.
Right here. Boom. So here we are. Firehouse Vigilance. firehousevigilance.com, and you can click on that and you can get the downloadable version. You literally just have to put it in your cart. You'd make it like a regular checkout, but you won't be charged. It'll say zero amounts, free.
Download it.
And I've used it. I printed it out. I had it in my
Print it,
department.
do whatever you add to it, do whatever you want to it. It's the fire service. It's an amazing document. And it's, sorry. I don't want to walk
330 pages, 43 authors, 46 articles, 22 drills, 3 photographers, 2 artists, forwarded by Chief David Rhodes, cover art by Paul Combs. I mean, it's a great book. And
it's phenomenal.
And I absolutely think it's what a great way to spread it, the message. And if you want a hardcover, like Michael is, well, not exactly like Michael has a first grab edition. You can tell from the red letters, but if you want a hardback, you can go to Amazon and order it. And the best part about it is all the profits from the hardback go to Firefighter Rescue Survey. So nice.
It's a win-win-win for the fire service. In fact, the fire service has given $106,000 and some change, $106,000 to Firefighter Rescue Survey from the sale of the hardback book of search, which the crazy part is the book is free. So that's amazing that it's done that.
That is so cool. And it just shows like people want to give that back and they're buying the books, right? It's honestly, to me, it's kind of like a fire conference. It's like a FDIC in a book.
Dude, it's
right.
It turned out so much better than I could have dreamed when it was coming together. It is a really amazing thing that happened with the Book of Search.
And
very proud of it.
And it blew up like wildfire.
Yes.
As soon as it was released, I mean, the numbers for it was just flying off the charts, and everyone was singing its praise. And it's literally like a book that we should have at our fire academies and our stations.
100%.
And if anyone's ever bored, like now we have the work. As well,
the work of search.
The work of search, like you elaborated more in the work of search, so you can have those drills. They're all.
And I want to be clear to everybody. I want to be clear because if you get the hardback book, it doesn't have all the drills in it, and that was to try and keep the size down. And we ended up taking the drills out. Now, if you get the PDF, all the drills are in there. And then later on, we came out with the Work of Search, which is the companion book, and it's much cheaper. It's like a $20 price point. It's designed to be like it's paperback. You can roll it up, stick it in your boot, take it down to the drill ground. If it gets wet, you can get another one. You know, it's not a collector's thing like the hardback. And that's the Work of Search, and that has all the drills in it. So be clear. And all the proceeds from it, if you do, again, you can download it for free. But if you do purchase it to have a hardback or a paperback, it's all the proceeds from that go to Firefighter Mayday Survey. So again, everybody wins.
I love it. And I was smiling because I was just thinking back to FDIC when we were at the bar and you were having the authors of that book sign your book.
Yes.
And one of my coworkers said, "Hey, he's having people who are in the book sign it." And he's like, "You should have him sign. You should be able to sign it." I go, "No, I can't."
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And he's like, "No, you should go do it." And I had a couple of drinks in me, so I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." "Hey, Corley, can I sign that book?" And you're like, "What? This book?"
Right. I was actually offended. I was a little bit like, I was like, "What do you mean? No, you didn't." No.
Hell no.
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm in it." "How are you in it?" I'm like, "My picture's in it."
Right. No, I do remember that.
We're like, "My picture's in the book."
Yeah, there it is.
"So can I sign it?" You're like, "All right, you can sign it."
No, that's actually a great point. I'm like, yes, you can. That is actually the fact that you found yourself and know that you were in it. That's really cool. And so,
it was such a funny moment because like it took a lot of balls of me to just come up to and ask that fucking question. And then, because I got my coworkers egging me on, and they're like, "All right, I'm going to do it." And you're like, "Well, if you could prove to me that you're in the book." I'm like, "All right."
And I honestly thought there was no way you could. I didn't even think about the collection of photographs.
And that was the thing. And you're like, "Prove it." And now all eyes were on me. And they're flipped it right there. There's Rob Ramirez's section. There I am. Right. Oh, well, shows how much I know my book. Go ahead, sign it.
Well, the thing is Rob provided the photos for his section. So it was just damn cool, dude. And the thing is there's a section in the back of the book for every author. There's a block for every, like the whole thing is like Pokemon. If you get the Book of Search, then your job is to go to conferences and get all the authors to sign in their box, and you got to catch them all.
So there's the boxes that Corley's talking about.
So there's Mike Champo. and then he has a box right there that you can get, and Scott Corrigan right below him, and you can get them to sign. And yeah, so it's phenomenal. I'm very proud of it, man. There's lots of little things like that in it.
Yeah, it's like I said, I can't preach it enough. As soon as this came out, I'm buying that. That was my first order right there. And it's what's great too is you don't have to. For anybody who reads or doesn't read, you don't have to flip it over section by section by section. It's not in order. Pick and choose what you want to read. Pick and choose what you want to do. Go over it with your crew. It's a great table talk discussion. Talk about the articles in there. Talk about the methods that's in there, and then go try it out in the bay. And or just if you don't, freaking go talk about it. Just educate yourself. So, I love what you've done. Again, these are things like starting from making carousels on Instagram of just quotes, and then all of a sudden now you've got this stuff, and that's what's just so cool to see the evolution of it all.
Brother, for me to be on the ride and to see the evolution. Again, imagine, from my perspective of, it's been an amazing ride. I don't know when the ride will end, but I love it, dude. It's one of the, it's a purpose in my life that drives me. So.
It's great to see it. And you also have an article that just came out as well. And it's on Firefighter Nation. And so if anybody hasn't seen it, you can find it. You can just go to firefighterNation.com. The fealty fallacy, demand loyalty, lose power. What motivated you to write that one?
A lot of frustration, really, with just the fealty fallacy, which is, and that was a real conversation that occurred between me and a chief above me who said, they're always telling me they want a firefighter's fire chief. He goes, well, I'll be a firefighter's fire chief when they start being a fire chief's firefighters. And I remember just being like, did you just say that out loud? Like on purpose? Because it was like, you just literally said, I'll start leading when people start following me. It's basically in a nutshell what he said. And so that's been brewing in my head since that conversation. And, yeah, but the thing is, there is so many people in positions of authority who lead from that perspective, and it's just so toxic. It's so toxic, and that's where the germ of that article came from.
That's great, and I think that's what's so great about writing, especially now. And honestly, I think that's what's great about Firefighter Nation, is that you have the ability now to something that's inspiring you and motivating you, or something that's just really strong in you, and you want to get it out, and you can write it. You now have a place to be able to post that, to put it, right? Before it was fire engineering, which is still an amazing article, still amazing magazine and publishing, but that was really like more organizational based, more tactic based, right? But now if you have a 6-minute paragraph or what you want to write, that's really going to punch. You got it right there. And that's
the internet based. And I mean, I know you had Stephanie White on, and she was talking about the length and about people's attention span for an article is like, I think she said 750 words, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's just that's what you get to work with nowadays. People are used to doing this. Like, I mean, that's what I'm not in. Nope. So to get them to bite in for 750 words is quite a commitment nowadays. Attention spans are like fruit flies, man, like gnats.
It is. And I think it's just training our brains, right? Before we used to train our brains way before all this technology. It was a longer base, and now we train our brains to be short so we can move on to the next thing.
And I don't even know what the next generations are going to be like, because I know my ADHD ass is pretty bad, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
Now, with this article that you just put out, have you gotten any feedback from that? Like,
man, I was surprised. I was really surprised because how do I say it? I did not think. It was kind of a cathartic article for me. It was more that, there's different types of articles you write. Some are you're working on a class idea and you're just fleshing it out. Some of them you're like, hey, maybe there's a lot of meat here and this might turn into a book or a longer series of articles. And sometimes it's just I really want to say what I want to say, and it's just a catharsis release. And so that's what that one was. So when the feedback started coming in, because it came in, like, it was one of my more, I've written, I want to say probably 20 or so articles over time for fire engineering and Firefighter Nation and the different ones. And that's probably the one that's resonated the most is that. And so as far as people sending feedback saying, thank you for writing that. Thank you for writing. And so that's always makes you feel good. I mean, there's nothing bad about that.
I think it's great because honestly, because it's uncorely, because it's short. You know, like
Are you saying I'm long-winded? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you're long written.
Okay.
But you know,
That's
like,
fair.
I mean, you got this, right? Like you've got these books out there, and then you got this really short article, but again, it's a great punch. It's a great short read that if anyone's looking for something to really like understand and really to hit home, and it's right there. And I love that you were able to have that, like you said, that cathartic moment where I got something to say, but I don't need it to be incredibly long-winded. I don't need 5 pages of this. I want people to read what I'm feeling right friggin' now. And that's what I feel like this was.
And I used to love, like this is one of my favorite books. It's sitting right here because I pulled it out. Robert Greene's Laws of Human Nature. Man, phenomenal book, but it is a tome. Like this thing it's massive.
Yeah.
And I'm still typing up my notes from it. Like this, I read it. I have a Post-it note in the front when I finished reading it. Finished reading it on 5/15/20. So every once in a while I'll go in and like you see my highlights and stuff. And every once in a while I'll go in and I'll start typing up my notes on it. And I'm still not done. That's like 6 years later, and I'm still almost 7. Yeah, it's almost 6 years. Anyway, I don't remember. Oh, but I used to love big, thick books because you're like, oh, that's weighty. That's got some meat to it. You know what I'm saying? But now I really enjoy someone who can get to the point, be short and concise, and not take forever to get it across. So that's really a thing I'm really trying to push for in my own works, as well as when I'm looking at books to read. Is like, how thick is it? How big is it? And AI is a powerful, powerful beast. It's either the greatest thing in the world or it's the devil. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? But Skynet is here. I don't know if people realize that Skynet is here. But all that being said, I use AI like extensively for shortcuts and organization. And I'll have AI now, instead of reading an entire book, I'll have AI say, summarize this book and give me the 5 key takeaways. And then I will find out, I'll look at those and find out if I want to read it. Now, I haven't been doing that for a long time, so I don't know, because it's not like reading the book. Like reading the book, I never want to claim that, but I can find out really quickly. Like I can say, give me the summary on this, and it can do it. I can read 1-page summary and then know if I want to invest the time to read it. So it's like another layer. It's not just Google reviews finding out if the book is good. It's like
well, it's like buying those Cliff Note books. Remember the yellow and black books?
Oh yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
So it's like a lot like buying that, but now you get the computer to do it for you.
It's even quicker. It's even quicker. And I've saved myself quite a few book reads by looking at the summary going, okay, I already know those concepts. I've studied those concepts. I read this book, which sounds like the same thing. So I don't want to waste the time reading this book. Let me go on to the next book I want to read. And so that's been a very, very cool evolution of the process.
That's great. I think you said, like, you're not, I love AI as a tool. It's something
it's powerful.
We kind of get embarrassed by saying it sometimes, but I use it for help me write it. So like, as I'm driving, I'm always motivated and inspired especially when I'm driving along long rides, like all of a sudden something pops in my head and I take out my phone, do my voice memo, and then I transcribe that and put it into AI to clean it up.
Right on.
And then I rewrite it. So, because all the ums and the stutters.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to lose my momentum. I can't pull over and write it in my notes or anything. So I got to say it on my phone, and I have it transcribe it so it can build it out for me. And then I rewrite it. And it's my voice just transcribed.
One of my, dude, I'm telling you, there's so many but one of the things is it can organize my brain. So if I love, like, one of my favorites is notebook.lm. Andrew McGinn, shout out. He's the one who introduced me to it. And Sam Raines, I can't leave him out. But long story short is it only uses as source material anything you put into it. And so it's phenomenal for organizing my own thoughts. So transcriptions of lectures, transcriptions of my own things, and even working within it, I like to put in stuff and then work on outlines and class plans and things like that. I'm telling you, it organizes your brain, because my problem is recalling. I mean, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see the bookshelf behind me. Trying to recall what I read out of something and trying to find it. It's just not possible. And so to have something that can recall is just so powerful.
Now, you also travel and you do presentations.
Oh, yeah.
You do lectures.
Yes.
So, again, you started from just doing inspirational quotes.
Yeah.
You got your books, you've got articles, and then you also have your presentations. What is your presentation about?
I have multiple. and I'm always working on new ones. In fact, the one I'm currently working on is all about confrontations, accountability, um, confrontations, discipline, accountability, expectations. It really is aimed at a effective uh, organizational hierarchy is what. But anyway, I ramble answer. My main class is the 9Ls, and it was the 9Ls was a class before it was ever a book. So the book was written based off teaching the class.
Okay.
And so I built the 9Ls class originally and taught it quite a bit. And then I wrote the book, The 9Ls, and that's where that came from. And then I have another class called Reflexive Readiness, which is all about creating a mindset of preparedness in the fire service so that no matter what kind of chaos comes along, you can be competent, confident, and adaptable when that chaos hits. And that's what Reflexive Readiness is all about. Those are probably my two biggest classes. And then I have other ones, the Culture Forge. I was teaching at Firemanship 2 years ago, and Cody called and said, "Hey, we want a workshop for people who don't get into the hot." Right. And one thing is I hate teaching when there's hot going on because you can end up with an empty class. But firemanship is a unique animal because it's all the hot sells out and there's still a ton of firefighters there. So I was like, "You want to what?" He was like, "I want an 8-hour workshop." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, absolutely. Anything you want, Cody." And I hung up the phone with him and I was like literally going like, "What is a workshop? How do you build a workshop?" And I ended up making the Culture Forge, which is the class I always wanted to attend as a firefighter. And so I put in everything I wanted: high activity, very frantic teams, scores, a winner at the end of the day. It's a really cool 8-hour workshop class. In fact, FDIC picked it up last year, and I did a 4-hour workshop last year. I had to do like a 4-hour version, which was super high speed, but taking an 8-hour class and smashing it down.
Yeah.
And then so it'll be back. It'll be back at FDIC. This year I screwed up the submission process, so that was on user error. But it'll be back, and you can take it there at FDIC sometime. But I teach it around the country. So I don't remember the original question, but yeah, my passion, one of my passions is getting up in front of people, and not I don't like public speaking. That's not a comfort, but one of my passions is sharing the stuff I'm passionate about.
Oh, I love that you've come to that as well, because it's weird how I've followed almost that path that you have, and I found my passion for presenting, and that I developed from my own personal experiences and developed my presentation, and that's something I'm trying to grow and branch out for. And like you said, at first, like, we're doing this people might think this is public speaking, but this is just me talking into my camera and you're talking to your camera, and there's nobody else watching us. But
Right.
But for you, honestly, though, because you do live a lot, so you are in a way public speaking because you have the ultimate feedback coming in constantly. But in a classroom, when you got people actually staring at you,
Oh yeah.
that's, are they enjoying it, or are they falling asleep? When they pick up their phone, they look at their phone, okay, they don't care anymore.
Oh yeah.
And it's intimidating for sure, especially in a room full of firefighters, right? Tattoos and mustaches galore, and do they hate me or do they like me? I can't tell.
Yes. No, without a doubt.
How do you overcome that then if you don't like public speaking?
Dude, when I first started, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, that was a question.
Okay. When I first started, I always wear the same thing when I teach. It's a black polo. I wear a black polo every time I teach. And the reason is when I first started, within probably before I even started, I could look at my watch and it would be like, my heart rate would be like 140, 150 because the nerves, just getting ready to speak. And my armpits would be just boom, just like if black you still saw it, but at least hit it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember like 2 years after teaching the 9Ls, and I was teaching the 9Ls, Oklahoma City Fire Academy. I was going to teach it again. And I taught it there, I don't know how many times, 15 times. And I told Amanda, I said, "Hey, I'm going to wear a gray polo." She's like, "Are you sure?" And I have an undershirt, you know what I mean? And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm finally calm enough to do this." And I'm telling you, dude, it looked like just.
But you move around so much though, too.
Well, there is that, but the moving around is also just trying to get rid of the excess energy because it's nerves. It is nerves, and it translates into I think people say passion, but I don't know if that's true so much as just straight up nerves. One of the things that's helped me, and I've gotten better. Do not get me wrong. 6-7 years later now, and I'm much more relaxed when I speak, but I read there was a podcast. I don't know if it was Huberman or if it was Williamson or who it was. I'd be lying and remiss, but it basically said whenever you like think of that as rocket fuel. It is not something to be nervous about. It's not nerves. It's rocket fuel for the energy you're about to expend.
I
And
like
that mindset really did help me.
That's
So, but
awesome.
that's the reason for the black polo every time I teach is my armpit sweat. The reason I walk so much, and people ask, how many steps you get in today, Chief? Like I taught a 4-hour class, actually it's like a 3.5-hour class in Ohio last week. And the guy asked me right in front of the, Steve Mouch asked me before the class, he said, how many steps are you at right now? I said, I'm at 2,200. He goes, how many are you going to be at by the end? I said, probably 18,000. Probably 18,000. That's the guess. And when we looked at the end, it was 16,700. So
Damn.
it was, but it's just energy. It's just energy.
Yeah.
And so
I love that. And it's like you said, absolutely. I love that rocket fuel because that's how I felt when I did my first time presenting, and it was in New Hampshire to present it. And I felt just that. And then I got to go to Mississippi and do it.
right on.
And that was even bigger room. And that's where the rocket fuel was going. And I have a tendency to speak louder when I get nervous and I get amped up. So I'm like, I felt like I was shouting at people. So it's great to be able to use that emotion and that energy to really amp up the people when you're really talking about something you care about.
No, and I'm like, probably my number one passion is writing. I love writing, fiction, nonfiction. I love story. I love storytelling, and I'm passionate about it. But my second biggest passion is probably presenting, because it's a skill set. It is an art, and I love when I get infatuated with something. I love to dig in and figure out, and I've been exposed for the last 5 or 6 years, or probably longer. Even before, because the fire service and all the terrible classes you have to sit through, all the terrible refreshers and then you get exposed to some good instructors, and you're like, well, why is this good and why did that suck? And you start identifying those things, and of course you double down on what's good and you minimize what sucks. And I am a true student of what makes a good presentation. And I study it. I study it. I take, like, a lot of times people see me and they'll see me on the front row and I am taking notes and I'm there, but sometimes it's not even for I want to know, I'm there for the class. I don't want to take away from the class and the knowledge, especially when I was on duty, but I also am taking notes on how they're presenting and what they're doing and what resonated with me and why. And I'm a huge student of understanding how to manipulate's not the right word, how to resonate with an audience. That's the word, resonate.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, is you can take all the classes in the world, you can get all the certs in the world. If you can't read people and you can't understand what they're literally what their face or their body's telling you, then you're not going to be able to really, I feel, get your presentation out, get your message out. If that room is just not feeling you, it's not the room. It might be you.
What blows my mind, and I've heard instructors do this, and everybody's got different gifts, do not get me wrong, but I've heard instructors do this where they're like, well, I'm teaching in the morning and I still got to get up to my room and I still got to add some slides and I still got to figure out exactly what I'm going to say. And I'm like, that to me is now there's some people that know their subject material so well. So I get, I understand that. Okay. And it's like, they're just trying to figure out which part of the subject matter they're going to organize and throw out there. But there are people that teach classes that honestly, they don't even practice it before they go and teach it. And you can tell, like when you sit there, you're like, what the hell am I watching? And because we all get it. We sit here and preach these things on the fire ground. It's like, no, if perfect practice makes perfect, and reps matter. And it's the same thing with teaching. I'm super passionate about it if you get the honor to get in front of firefighters and teach, don't let the first time you teach the class be when you're teaching it. Like put in some reps, man, and do it justice. All right.
I love that. That was great. I just clipped that one because that was awesome. So as we're winding down, where can anyone find you for if you're going to be doing these presentations, and or can they reach out to you to get some of these classes?
Firehousevigilance.com is pretty much the one-stop shop for everything. Firehousevigilance.com. You can get the PDFs there. You can get the books there. You can get the swag there. You can see where I'm speaking. Of course, try to be at all the big conferences, FDIC and et cetera. And we just, if you're down in the South, Lift, Louisiana Instructors Fire Training. Man, it's such a phenomenal conference down there, and we're going to be there every year. We had the live scrap there this year. We're gonna make that an annual thing, so that's going to be pretty damn cool.
Dude, when you did that live scrap, me and Preston were like, son of a bitch, because we were doing the pod class at March Mayhem, and you nailed it with the live for you guys, and I was like, oh man, now we got to amp this up. How are we going to make this good? And again, it was just so awesome how people like feed off each other. It was that motivation again, right? Like, oh man, this was great. Like Corley nailed it with the live scrap at Lift. And literally next week we were doing March Mayhem in the pod class for a live.
Oh yeah, and you guys crushed it there, man. That was awesome. So.
And we're literally texting as we're watching this. Preston and I are texting each other, going, "All right, man, let's take notes because this is key right here." And I took those notes. I'm like looking at the stage, how it's set up, how you guys are communicating, the topics, everything. And that's what I love. I love that we're raising that bar, setting those standards, and just making it fun. And that was
fun.
Is
really a big part of it. Yeah,
watching you guys do that. Yeah. And watching you guys do that was fun, man. That was fun to watch. It was fun to listen. And I was like, man, these guys nailed it. It was so great. And then we got to do our thing and the same thing. And I watched it because like some of my feedback was like, I don't want a table in front of me. I want bar tables so people could see our legs, people could see our feet, people could see us move around. So it doesn't look like we're, like staring like bulldog at them.
Sure.
So it was something to feed off of and change things. And it was so cool. It was so well received. We're like, man, this was what's up. Like we're all doing these things to better the fire service. And it was just so much more fun to see you do it. And the next week we did the same thing. Not the same thing, but we did
I know what you're saying. No, so, the number one request I get a lot is because I teach and I get reached out to say, hey, will you come teach at our conference? And they're like, hey, can you do a scrap while you're here? And it's like, man, no. and it's not, it's because the scrap has a live audience. There's people that log in. I mean, there's a diehard audience that shows up every week, and then there's people that rotate. But the thing is, there's, they're there and they're asking questions. They're listening live and asking questions, getting live. And I can't, like, it takes a lot of hardware and a lot of setup to be able to do it live where the people that are there live can see it and hear it. But not only that, so that the internet can see it and hear it and hear the live audience, and we had that same issue at Lyft because I'm like, hey, go use the microphone. Go use the microphone so that the people on the internet can hear you. But anyway, there's the logistical nightmare of doing a live show on location is
dude, we did that at Key City. We did the same thing. Key City.
Key City, you did that.
It was going, it was great, but we didn't have things set up right. I'm like, well, we need to try to stream this live. Like I use my phone to do the live feed. So I'm trying to fix my little phone somewhere over there that can get a good angle. And then the internet crapped out on us because the internet was horrible. So like,
no, it's always those issues, man.
Oh my God. It was just, I'm at my computer, staring at my computer. I'm like, fuck.
No, and that's the thing that's the reason I tell people, no, I can't. I cannot do it live there because I don't control it. Now, if I had a kit and I could take it and I could test, all that. But anyway, that's a rabbit hole of podcasting nerdism.
But this was a great conversation, Chief, and I really appreciate. Honestly, I just appreciate also of outside podcast things that you and I have spoken. We've had really good conversations, and honestly, that's for the 100th episode. It was a big thank you from me to you for being a true friend, for being a brother. That when I text you and I have a question or you always respond, and you're not big enough to not do it. Like you're like, yeah, man, what's up?
No, and listen, you're my friend, period. But it's more than that. I'm also a fan, and I mean that. So it's an honor that you'd call. If I ever you have permission to smack me. If I ever think that I'm too big to answer like that to me is I hope that goes without saying. I hope you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I got you.
So, brother, I'm honored beyond belief that you would have this conversation. Honor me, number 100, dude. First 100. Of all, I said it at the beginning. Congratulations. That is a massive, massive milestone, and it's just you're crushing it, man. You're crushing it. So thank you for letting me be a part of episode 100.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being a part of it. And again, from from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a true friend, and let me call you with my problems too. Like, again, it wasn't just podcast stuff, like, you know what I'm talking about, and I really appreciate you being a shoulder to lean on when I have some serious questions. And that goes out for anybody. If you ever have questions, you can reach out to Corley, you can reach out to me. We're open books, and like, I'm just some schmuck from New Hampshire that just loves to talk to people. And it's literally like the same thing you just did, right?
Yeah.
You just started, some dude just had some messages to say, and it's developed into this. And again, I'd be remiss if I didn't pay that back and have you be my guest for my 100th episode. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, Chief. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. So with that being said, you all stay safe, be well, and Nozzle
Nozzle
Top.
top.
Nailed it.